Hi there, welcome to our channel. I'm Vic.
I'm Nick.
And we're Envy Board Gaming, and we are back from the Dice Tower Cruise 2023. So we're just going to spend a little bit of time talking about the games that we played on the cruise and the thoughts we had about them. I would say we didn't go too crazy on gaming. It wasn't like a gaming marathon for us. So we'll preface it by saying that.
Yeah.
If you thought we were going to play hundreds of games,
No,
that's not what happened. Well, we don't know.
It doesn't happen. Even if you don't shower and you don't sleep very much, you still hundreds is plural. So that's kind of crazy.
Well,
I guess you do card games over and over and over and over and over.
Plays versus like different games.
Yeah. So we played 19 that were new to us and 3 that we have played before.
Mm-hmm. We brought some.
As well. Because there's pre-cruise and then the library closes a little before the cruise is done, obviously to pack up the games. So when we're at the pre-cruise, we played So Clover.
Yep.
So that's a game we've already played. But also at the pre-cruise, we played 2 new games to us, smaller games. Cat in the Box, which is a trick-taking game that got a lot of buzz. What'd you think of that one?
It was all right. I'm not very good at trick-taking games, so I often feel like what I'm doing is foolish or I'm not playing optimally. But still, the theme, with cats, that's always cute, and the idea was neat about how you set the suit, and there's certain rules about getting out of a suit.
Can't play the same number twice, even though they're suitless essentially until you assign them a suit.
Yeah.
You just say what it is, and you put it on it's like a 4-colored card, and you tell it's going to be green. You just play in the green area. It's clever. Yeah. I like it, and I like trick-taking games, and I'm fairly good at them. So I like that one too.
And it was like 4 rounds or something. You played as a round. It wasn't just like a single.
It was a good game. We played 5 players.
Yeah.
So it works at 5. I like that one.
Yeah, that was good.
The other new to us one was kind of new to us. It was just like a reskin on Fantasy Realms.
Yeah.
That remix, Marvel remix. I don't know. I already have Fantasy Realms. I've already played Rising 5.
And we don't.
Red Rising.
Yeah, sorry. The theme doesn't really matter to me in that.
So case. That one, it was whatever. I like Fantasy Realms.
Yeah,
so.
I still like chaining off combinations.
Yeah, it was still good. So that was all we played pre-cruise, that pre-cruise party. So the first game that we played when we were on the cruise was one that was a crossover with Brian and I, our buddy Brian, who was on the cruise. It was both on our list to play, and that was Guild of Merchant Explorers. I thought that one was okay. What about you?
Refresh my memory.
That was when we were putting cubes out. It's the very first game we play. You're putting those cubes out, and then they get pulled off the board, but you have villages that you can still spawn from after that. It had a little Blue Lagoon to it.
Yeah, I remember. I don't really... Those games kind of feel like futile to me. Like, I'm putting them out, and I'm like... Just like that other one we'll talk about that we played on the same day right afterwards.
Oh, yeah, right afterward, yeah.
It just, I didn't care for Blue Lagoon when we played it.
Okay, so. It's a rolling right with cubes. It's fine. I thought it was fine. I gave it like a 6-3.
Yeah, it was chaotic. Now I remember. Yeah, it was just felt a bit chaotic for me. Like that I was gonna have to knock off these things, and the way you were placing them, they weren't perfectly on the terrain tiles, the hexes. So I wasn't crazy about that one.
Game 2 that you're hinting at,
Caesar's Empire. I was doing well at first. I had a long little line going, and then. I don't know. You chain off, you connect your people together. Like, what game would that be similar to? I don't know. I'm probably describing it poorly, but...
Council of 4, but not as cool?
Yeah. Okay, you put one out, or you can put 2 down, or you can, other people get points for joining your little line of people.
You get points whenever it triggers.
Yeah, and you collect the tokens.
It was whatever.
Yeah, it was very okay to me.
Yeah, I agree. So our first 2 games were pretty okay. So we rounded out day 1 playing Mosaic, which was my number 1.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Mosaic. Let's go through what it's like. What do you do?
That was what we played with Atticus.
Yes.
And it was the Civ type game.
I love a Civ game. Yes, now I remember it. I did like that a lot. I liked that you could have, somebody is building a wonder in that one, because I know in Monumental we also had wonder, so I'm not getting it confused. I like that kind of thing where like one person can build something, or you're advancing in different ways on tracks. What you decide to do. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
that was a strong game.
I thought it was pretty good. Since it was my number 1, I would say it wasn't my number 1. But by the time I left, it wasn't number 1. At this point of the cruise, day 1, it is my number 1 at this point where we're at right now. So day number 2, we started with Toledo. I think that's called.
Well, I'll say that in the beginning of the day, this day we went to Bahamas. We got off the boat and we were at Atlantis Water Park, and we went on this crazy water slide, and it was like a straight down drop. It's called a leap of faith, and you just look down. And, ah! It was
awesome.
Scary, yeah.
That was the best one at the whole park, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Better than the one that were there, like the fish are above you and all that. Even better than that, because it's just like you're just dropping straight down. It's so awesome.
I spent most of the time with my eyes closed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and plugging my nose, bracing for impact.
I was wearing goggles, so I can keep my eyes open the whole time. So it was nice. I don't get a splash.
Privileged.
I guess it was a wise move by me.
He was a think for yourselfer, so I didn't get any goggles. Anyway, to the gaming. Toletum was a game that we had on our list to play. Nick put it on his list.
It wasn't in my top 10, but it was honorable mention. It was okay. But it was good. It was, and then I think at this point, this is probably my number one.
Yeah.
It passed Mosaic for me. It's a T game, so
love a dice game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
I like the dice where you're manipulating dice, and like the other T games where you're getting resources for the pips on the dice, and I liked that in the little rondel.
Gotcha. Yeah, some of the memory of that game is escaping me.
Yeah.
I remember the architect and the wagon, but then I don't remember like how you do the actions. Now I'm
kind of rondel, and you select dice.
Yeah, your action selection there, and you have different spots on the board you can access. Yeah. I remember enjoying it. I think I gave it like 8.4, so I liked it quite a bit at this point. It was probably my high point.
There was a lot of great actions to do. Like you could choose to move them and then have different scoring at the end from how you've moved them. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna grab this one probably. Add to the collection.
Yeah.
It was good. I liked it.
Do it, Nick.
And we'll play one more game.
And we had another strong game, and it was late at night, and we powered through and played Revive. And it was 2 players, and I think we would keep it at 2.
Yeah.
Because it did take a little while even with learning it, but it wasn't that crazy of a game. But when you look at the cover, you would be deceived as to what the game weight is and what's actually going on in the game, because it seems so different from what the cover is showing. But you're reviving the planet after a disaster, I guess, and just but I really liked it. The theme, it looked cool. The board had a great presence, and we had fun. I lost, but that's okay. Still had fun.
I learned the game that night. We played it. It was pretty late that night. We played it, but I taught the game also 3 times in the cruise. So I just learned it, played it once with Vic, and I was able to teach it. So it's a pretty, I would say, a fairly easy teach once you get through the rules once. And that is Revive. I enjoyed it. I gave it an 8.
Yep. Day 3. So we played a game that was on my list, and Nick was a good sport, and he let me learn the game, which is great because it was only 2 pages. Those are the rule books that I usually get to learn, and it was Renature. It was a domino game. Nick wasn't wild on it, and it was also like an area majority domino type game. If you've heard of it, you'll know what it is. I like dominoes. Not that I like dominoes.
No, I'm staying quiet.
Okay.
There's a 3.
Yeah, he was not happy with it. He was looking at all the other cool games and thinking, psh.
I'm playing dominoes with animals on them.
Yeah.
I grew up playing dominoes, and this was a step down from dominoes for me.
I didn't. I was deprived of dominoes as a child, so it was good for me. Comic Hunters is a game that we decided to play, was on your list.
My number 10.
Hard to get, right? So we thought we'd better take advantage of that because we're not going to be ordering it from Brazil anytime soon. I know Brian also, our friend on the cruise, wanted to play it too. So we got that in. That was a set collection type game, but it was drafting.
Different ways to draft.
Different ways to draft, which I never would have imagined. Like, oh yeah, then you're going to do this, and you're going to be diagonal this time, and then this one you're going to be an auction, and hey, that was kind of cool.
It was kind of cool that there's different ways to draft. I love drafting. The game itself, it was whatever. It's all you're doing. Essentially, I gave it a 6. I thought it was okay. I think a lot of that has to do with me not caring about the theme at all. But if you really care about comic themes, I think this one's pretty cool.
Yeah, I didn't care about the theme very much, but I still thought that the changing up the different mechanisms for making sets was cool of the auctions.
Okay.
And the drafts. So that was nice. And then Hamburg, which I think was, at that point, was a number 1 game for me after playing it. And because it's a Feld I was worried. A Feld game, I thought it might be. I love the disasters. Everybody was griping about disasters, but I had a lot of good insurance and ways out of them. So I was getting, things were coming up really well for me.
You're just cheating, probably. What's the other way out of it?
Excuse me. I was just preemptive. I was careful.
If you haven't played Bruges, and you have played, let's say, Oracle of Delphi, they have that same mechanic where if you get too many skulls, then it kills that action. And it has that same thing, except it's a little more brutal in that when you devote a card to it, it doesn't they all don't just slide over. It's just one slides over.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like, oh man, I got to spend 2 cards to move 2 of these blocks over. So it's one of those things where your cards do a lot. They can be used for different things.
Yeah, I liked it though. I enjoyed playing that game, and I always like Feld games. I'm a Feld fangirl. And then a really pretty game, Aqua Garden, which is another hard to get sort of foreign exotic game out of Japan or Korea. Japan.
Maybe in Taiwan. I don't know. It's one of those. I can't remember.
Yeah,
I think it is Japan. I thought it was. I said Japan, but I don't know if it was Taiwan or Japan.
Let us know. But that was nice. That was a nice, pretty fish aquarium game where you're trying to fulfill sort of a certain types of fish and different combinations of them in your aquarium, like on your displays, and you're gonna pick them up like where once you go so far you can't go back. So you take and then the last person gets to go. And then there's a spot where you can stop and do some marketing based on the fish that you've picked up. You get some more money, and it's
the board is very similar to Heaven and Ale, where you can't Glenmore games like that where you can't go Francis Drake. There's so many games like that now, or you can't go so far because you're gonna give everyone else the things before. Even Craftwagon has that. I like it. It's a little more than I expected, even as far as what was going on. There's a little bit more. And we didn't play with any like the modules. There was tons of modules.
Yeah, there was different stuff.
I'd like to see what those would have added.
Same.
I thought it was good. I didn't think it was great.
Yeah.
I thought it was around a 7.
I had a struggle with trying to get to certain spaces, but it was probably just not playing it right or optimally.
Had I not played Heaven and Ale, it may have been a little higher. It's just it was almost too close to Heaven and Ale, what I was doing. That even the advertising reminded me of the things you trigger in the middle between the resources and Heaven and Ale. Like it just had that there. Just happened to work out that way, I guess.
Yeah. And that was the end of our day 3 of gaming. We probably ate a lot of food also, continued to eat a lot of food 100%. That day. So much food. It was pretty gross. Day 4, we played. So this day, we got off the boat in Haiti. We did a little beach thing. Royal Caribbean has a special port there, so they have a little set beach area. So we're in the ocean.
A decent time though. I think like 2:00 we were back in the boat.
We were back by like 1:30 or so. Yeah. So then we got in a few games that day, starting with 3,000 Scoundrels.
That was a Corey Konetsky game that has kind of the card crafting where it has multi layers. You can set in their traits versus their jobs. So they have different abilities. They kind of work together. That shows how much they pay, how much you got to pay to acquire these people, and you're trying to just steal the most loot after how many ever rounds? 3, I think. I enjoyed it. I thought it was good.
I like the idea of the overlays and changing up, and some of your abilities could be to like switch.
Bluffing game too.
Yeah,
there's a lot of bluffing.
Yeah, that was funny. There were moments that I knew I gave it away, that I was full of it, and because you're playing like a poker hand. So you have to assign that, not a poker hand, just poker cards. But you're putting down the suits, and people can say, hey, I don't think you really played that suit that matches that spot.
Yeah, because you play your cards face down and say, now I'm playing my ace of spades to do this action. And every character has their own suit. So it's not like the spade is throwing you off, it's the ace that's throwing you off.
Yeah.
And some actions are more powerful. Like there's an action that you steal a loot. And there's only 1 card in the deck, and you have like a 6-card deck, and you 7-card deck, I think. Yeah. And you draw 4 every time. So it has that mechanism because you're drawing 4 of 7 every round, and that means you're going to get 1 of the same that you had last round. You can claim to do that really good card, and both times, both that round and the next round. But the odds are you did not have that card both times.
Yeah.
But you can call people's bluff and so forth.
It's funny, and it's not too punishing if you are caught lying. It's not brutal.
You lose reputation.
Yeah, it's fun. I like that. First Rat, weird name. Can you remind me how that one played?
that was the mice going on the light bulbs and the cereal boxes and all that. You remember that climbing up the winding thing, the winding road in the board. Kim loved it.
Yeah.
If you get light bulbs, your light bulb moves, and then you can collect one extra resource, everything behind it, until you get past it. Is it ringing a bell yet?
Not too
Not
much,
yet.
no.
There's all these different objectives on the board too. So like I went for light bulbs. I went heavy on light bulbs. When you have a bunch of rats, the more rats you get, then you can move obviously as many as you want.
Okay.
But they have to land in the same color.
I remember that. And then you have a bright idea or you have an invention. That's when you trade in those light bulbs, or you could decide to steal it and take it if you wanted to.
Yeah. Go back to the beginning.
Which is kind of neat. Like if you don't have what it takes to pay for it, when you get to a certain intersection along the winding trail, you can say, I'll just go back to the beginning, which can be strategic because then you can go back and get some resources, because towards the end of the winding trail, you can't get those anymore. They're just not spots on the board that you'll be able to pick stuff up. And then there's matching them, right? Like having one on one type and then one on another type of tile. If they're the same, you get
as long as they're the same color.
Yeah,
then you can do that. So this game is a lot about maximizing your actions.
Yeah.
Planning to get your rats in the same color at the same time to get maximum for your turn.
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was fun. Now that I remember it, it was cool.
8-2. I think I give it 8-2. It was a strong game.
Yeah, and it wasn't too rule heavy. Like you could play that with people who are newer to the hobby.
Pretty
I think.
Much.
Skymines. So this one, I was a sleepy person. I think the beach and everything took its toll on me that day. And so I wish I could play it with a cup of coffee or 2 or 3 or 4 espresso shots, because I would have loved to have replayed that one. But my experience was still fine, despite the fact that I was snoozing at times. I really liked it.
Yes, Skymines is my game of the trip. Even though it was a sleepy game or whatnot, I love what was going on. It's Mombasa in space.
That's what I was just going to say. And Mombasa was on my list, and you had Skymines. And that was our only crossover. Yeah.
It was really good. I have bought it, so you'll get to try it again. So we'll check it out again.
Wow, you made my evening. And you probably told me that before while I was sleeping.
We'll try that one out again.
I don't always
sleep. And we'll review it probably.
When I play games, I try to stay awake.
So now we're getting near the end. We're at day 5.
Yes, day 5. And now we did not get off the boat for the Jamaica stop. We were kind of beached out. We're not good beach bums. It's hard to play games on a beach. I don't know. We've brought some small games in the past at the beach, but we really just don't really want to lay around and get tanned.
We'll go out there and swim.
We did, but we're not really. So we had no real strong desire to get off the boat. So we just said, we'll play some games today and play some of the heavier ones in the dining room of the ship, which is really cool because that was probably my favorite place to play.
Oh, easily. Main dining room, if it's open, is the best place to play on the ship, and it's not even close.
Yeah, comfortable chairs, big tables.
It's more spaced out.
Oh, and the water, if you can get a seat by the water, really nice.
Yes.
And it just energized me being there. But like the Windjammer smelled like food all the time. It was like
cleaning products.
And, or dirty mops if you're by the cleaning. Anyway, it definitely, if you go on the cruise, go play in the dining room at least
anytime
once.
It's open. Yeah,
it's really fun. So anyway, day 5, we did a little bit heavier games to start the day. Gaia Project.
Yeah, Brian Kim taught us that game. That was on my list the year before. It was on Vic's list, number 1.
It was number 1, and I said it wrong. And it was so embarrassing, and it lives in infamy. So now it's Gaia Project. Yeah. And I knew that too.
What did you score that one?
I loved it. I don't know. I don't want to give a score in case we ever review the game.
Yeah, but it's a first impression score.
Oh, a first impression score. Okay, gotcha.
It'll get change.
I think because it's a space theme, there was a bird character. I was a bird who had a cool ability, and it's like a Civ almost game. Not really a Civ game. It's how would you describe it? It's like a space colonization type of game because you're putting out planets, and I love the little planet tokens and the look of it. And I don't know. I think it was like a 9-3 for me. Okay. Yeah, it was very strong. I really liked it.
I liked it a lot too.
And it being a longer game, that's okay with me. I don't mind settling in and playing a game. They don't all have to be like rapid fire games to me. Yeah, I really liked it, and I was glad that Brian knew how to play it and was able to teach us. Even though Nick spent the time learning it too while we were setting up, it was good.
Yep.
Next, we had a game that Nick and I both own and love, and we were happy to show it to Brian because he was interested in it. And this was Encyclopedia, which Kim ended up really liking too.
That was I love that game. It's such a good game. It was a fairly smooth teach. I think everything is a pretty smooth teach nowadays.
The only thing that gets difficult is that one action, really, the publish.
Yeah, the publish and the expedition. Yeah, when you don't come back to it for a while, it takes a minute to remember. Like, oh, how does that go again? That's it. That's only a spot. I guess you might get a little, I don't know, backlog of rules.
Yeah.
And the last one of that day was a cooperative game. It was our first since before the ship when we played So Clover.
And the theme was kind of fitting.
It was also on your list.
Yes, that too. It was Cthulhu, Death May Die, which I think of that title and it I don't know, it gives me a cringe because I don't get what that means. Death May Die.
I don't know. I don't know about it.
Oh, I think about it a lot. Yeah, I'm like, oh. But it was fun. It was good. I liked that. I love cooperative games. Some people don't care for them, but I do like that opportunity to break up the competition and work together on a game. And it was quick turns. People were able to do things rather quickly, and there were different abilities, right? There were everybody had a different condition, and so that was cool.
And you get to upgrade those different abilities, the different things you move up to. So it actually makes things more unique as the game goes on.
Yeah.
The minis are really cool. It's a fun game. I gave it 7.5 because we played games similar to that.
Yeah.
The action, they didn't wasn't totally revolutionary. They didn't blow my mind or anything, but I thought it was fun still, regardless.
And was that the one where if you die, you're still in the game, or is that another game I'm thinking about?
No, if you die, everyone loses.
Oh, yeah. That is true. Yeah.
If you die and you're still in the game, you might be thinking Blood in the Clock Tower.
Oh, that may be it, but I didn't play that.
Yeah.
So that was the end of day 5 gaming. So a little bit of heavier game, but again, that ship, by the time you walk around and you eat and you, I don't know, sleep in a little bit if you're up too late, you don't get as many games as you think you're going to get in. I don't know. Right. Time just flies by, and suddenly you're like, I only played 3 games that day? What?
Yep.
So day 6 was a good game for gaming. Nick had a game, and I'll let you talk about it, that you wanted to play last cruise.
Yeah, Monumental is hard to come by, and they had it there, and I learned the rules last year. We didn't get to play it, so I relearned them this year. Vic and I played it, 2-player. Brian and Kim were sitting next to us playing a 2-player game as well, and we both got done with that, and we ended up playing other games. But Monumental, Civ-type game, but it's really badass looking. Like barbarians out there, you're taking over, and there can be conflict depending on how you play it. But you're also doing different things to give you resources, which you have to spend on that turn, or think of ways to keep resources rolling over, like gold, and transfer it to other things like culture.
Yeah. I like the system of picking a row and a column.
Like Targi.
And then activating the cards, archiving cards, and building up a deck that ended up being better by getting more types of cards that you want to add, like if you're adding knowledge cards, and then the knowledge cards are worth something, so you're also like, oh, these are worth points at the end too.
Really cool theme, really cool art. It just felt like a really cool game, and I would say that about a lot of games that are just like straight up cool. This one felt like one. I don't feel like I need to own it, especially with how hard it is to get, and I was happy just to play it one time, and that's it. I like that I can get a table. After that, we played a abbreviated version of Transmissions. We got the idea, but a lot of the games need to come back. And we had some other friends that we met that were from Canada, and they had Ready, Set, Bet. And we knew that the library was closing soon. So we had to hurry up and play Transmissions. We got probably 2/3 of the way done, and they said, you know what, we're not going to be able to play Ready, Set, Bet unless we end it right here.
Yeah. So
I don't know who won. I know everyone thought that they were going to win, it seemed like.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to win.
I think you or John. The guy beside you.
It didn't matter, though. We got the idea of it. That's the main thing. It was idea of it. I thought it was really good. It was a lot better than I expected.
Yeah.
Once things started making more sense of why you would do something in that game and what these things actually meant, because it was kind of like a rush type thing.
Yeah, we kind of. I assumed it was going to be some basic game.
It is kind of,
and it is a basic game. It's not anything, but there's like these little mini things going on. Like, oh, do you want to collect butterflies and birds, but they're not on everything. But then sometimes you still want to get the points for stuff, and then your actions are driven by cards that have the robots that nobody owns any specific robot of a color. And I don't know, it was really cute, and that was another Kickstarter game that we didn't back, but
if that gets a discount, I'll buy that one.
Yeah, it was fun. It was easy enough to teach too. Like if we had sat down and really done it. I think that people, again, that are new to the hobby could handle that one and learn a little bit more about, because it's just interesting. I don't know what that's called, but it's worker movement game. I guess that's what it would be. And then we played Ready, Set, Bet, which was so cool because Brian had a nap. Highly recommend that if you're going to play the game. A horse racing game where it's like live action betting, and I went too fast on my bets. I would like throw a bet down right away when the first horse moves. I'm spending all my bets because you get these tokens of different values, and then you'll pay if you get it wrong. Some of the spots you're going to owe money back for each wrong bet or a set amount that you're going to pay. So I really like that. I really like that there were certain side bets and prop bets that were coming out too.
It's a fun, dumb game. It's basically how I can describe it. You're just kind of throwing at a whim, like, oh, this looks like it's going to win. I'll bet on that. It's a fun, dumb game. That's all I can say about it. Horse
racing, and you're just betting. A lot of fun.
Yeah, that's good.
And everyone liked it. And then we had a game that Nick had brought, because he brought some small games just to pass us over when we didn't have the library available to us. And that was Floriferous. We taught that to Brian and Kim. Some people walked by it and said, "Oh, what a beautiful game! What is that game?" So that was always nice to get that.
Kim said they're buying it.
Oh, really?
I think they should too. It's a really quick game. It cuts right to the point and it's fun.
Yeah,
easy to learn, easy to teach, and good looking.
I won too, so.
Yeah, you did. You had a great game. That was a really good game of Floriferous that Vic played. I did fine. I came second, but Vic played outstanding that game.
Aww. So that was it. We had brought games like So Clover, Floriferous, and those were the ones that we ended up playing. We brought Basket Boss, but didn't play that one, and probably another one that didn't end up.
My goods.
My goods. We loved the cruise. It was a lot of fun. We recommend it if you like gaming and you like the Caribbean and you've already been on a cruise. Well, then it makes so much sense. They put on a good event. There are lots of friendly people to play games with, and Nick and other people there have no problem teaching games when.
Yeah, I lost my voice.
Yeah, he's taught so much. Thanks so much for watching this. We hope that you liked it, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.